Hi, I'm Harish Karnan, a PhD student from UT Austin. Today, I'm going to present our paper titled Socially Compliant Navigation Dataset, a large scale dataset of demonstrations for social navigation. Let's begin. The year is 2022 and robots are increasingly found everywhere. As technology advances, autonomous mobile robots are becoming increasingly useful for real world use cases such as autonomous package delivery, restaurant serving robots, and autonomous passenger vehicles. It is anticipated in the future that the adoption and thereby presence of such robots will increase in common places like sidewalks, restaurants, and homes. However, as we start to see more of these robots being deployed in human habited environments, there is increasing fear about the safety of humans around these robots. We see here in these news clippings from the past 5 years, autonomous sidewalk robots have been put under scrutiny, increased restrictions for autonomous navigation, and in some situations, they have even been banned from navigating autonomously in cities. One such report from the city of Toronto in Canada, where sidewalk delivery robots were banned, reads the committee expressed concerns about sidewalk robots being hazards for people with low mobility or vision, as well as elderly people and children. Improving the safety of humans around mobile robots is still an unsolved last mile problem. We believe that a necessary component towards addressing this problem is that the navigation behavior of mobile robots need to be socially compliant with humans. We define socially compliant navigation as the capability of an autonomous agent to recognize and react to the objectives of other navigating agents, at least somewhat adjusting its own path in response. We humans naturally do that, but as we see here in this video, current state of the art robots not so much. Now that I've motivated the problem, let's look at the objectives for this talk. First, we will introduce Candy, a large-scale dataset of socially compliant navigation demonstrations. We will then look at applying imitation learning on Scandy to learn a socially compliant policy using behavioral cloning, followed by human participant trials to validate social compliance. The problem of social navigation is a multi-objective, multi-agent problem, which makes it hard to explicitly define a reward function. However, in this work, we posit that while formulating a reward function for this task is hard, it is relatively easier for us humans to demonstrate socially compliant navigation. Given such demonstrations, we can use tools from imitation learning to learn controllers that promote socially compliant navigation behaviors on a mobile robot. Unfortunately, we find that existing datasets for social navigation are either small in scale or focus on visual perception related challenges and not on the navigation subcomponent of social navigation. Having access to such data will help us study multi agent decision making in the context of socially compliant navigation, which we cannot afford to do so with existing datasets. So, to address this problem, in this work, we introduce Candy, a large scale dataset of socially compliant navigation demonstrations. Scandy consists of 138 trajectories, 25 miles, or 8.7 hours of real world data collected over 15 days. We collected data on two robots, the ClearPath Jackal and the Boston Dynamics Spot, in both indoor and outdoor environments. In Scandy, we have four human demonstrators providing a diverse set of socially compliant demonstrations. And in addition to the raw data, we also provide coarse labels of social interactions that occurred along every trajectory. To collect the trajectories in Scandy, the human demonstrator teleoperates the robot in a socially compliant manner using a joystick while walking behind it. We collected data in several busy buildings, sidewalks, lawns, and stairs in this blue area within campus with active human presence. Here we show the different sensor modalities present in on the two robots used to record the demonstrations. Both robots are equipped with BLP16 Velodynes, Azure RGB Kinect, and come with independent sensors such as wheel odometry and surround monocular cameras. In addition to these sensors, Scandy also contains the joystick commands issued by the demonstrator. Our Scandy dataset is accessible publicly and is also now available for download through Texas Data Repository. The contributions of our paper are both to provide a dataset and to demonstrate their potential usefulness. To provide empirical validation that the dataset is useful for social navigation, we find that imitation learning using behavioral cloning on Scandy generates socially compliant behaviors. The local planner agent here shown here takes as input the frame stack LiDAR scans along with a feasible path to the goal and the inertial information, and it predicts actions to act in a socially compliant manner to reach its goal. To evaluate the social compliance of the learned local planner and to compare it with the classical move based navigation stack, We conduct human participant study using the Boston Dynamics Spot robot on two different scenarios. In this task, the robot is trying to reach a goal 10 meters ahead. In the static scenario on the left, a human stands static midway along the path, and the robot is expected to navigate around the human. In the dynamic scenario on the right, the robot and the human begin walking facing each other, trying to get to their destination while avoiding conflicts in a socially compliant manner. Here we see the results of the static trials. Move-based navigates towards the goal location behind the human while avoiding collisions with the human, but it gets too close to the human while doing so. Whereas the imitative policy on the right takes a more conservative approach and avoids the human by taking a longer path around the human to reach its goal. In the dynamic trials, we see that the move-based agent on the left comes dangerously close to the human along the path, whereas the imitative policy recognizes and reacts to the incoming human earlier and takes a longer path to reach its goal. We ask the following questions about social compliance and safety to our human participants. From the results on the right, we see that a majority of humans felt the learned local controller was more socially compliant than move based. And on the question of safety, again, a majority of humans felt the learned local controller was more safer than move based. This experiment shows the potential of applying learning based approaches to Scandi to address the problem of social navigation. We encourage you to check out our paper for more interesting potential use cases of Scandi that help in tackling the important problem of social compliance in mobile robot navigation. I'd like to thank all the co authors in this work, and I'd be happy to take any questions. Thank you for your attention.